Welcome to K-Drama School. I'm your host, Grace Jung, and class is now in session. Filming this monologue on my couch because it's a lot of work to get inside my closet studio, right? I mean, it's fascinating how laziness and just unwillingness can just really, man, it's not like I have to drive somewhere. All I have to do is open up my closet door. But it's not just that. It's like I have to take my clothes out. And then I have to, it's a whole thing. And I'm just like, I don't want to do it. You know, it's just, I'm having a lazier Sunday kind of evening as I record this the night before I air it. But yeah, so, you know, I also was very active today. I moved some things around my apartment. And so that's why I don't have the excess energy to take all my clothes out of the closet and put them back in. It's like a whole thing. I just don't feel like doing it today, so I am going to record this from my couch. I hope that's okay with you. And I want to thank my Patreon sponsors. If you have not signed up to become a Patreon sponsor, you can. You can go to patreon.com/kdramaschool and you can become a monthly patron of me and my K-Drama School work so that I can keep paying my subscription fees to watch these shows, and so that I can pay for my website, which costs money, so that I could pay for the video platform that I use when I interview people, that I pay a monthly fee for that, so that I could pay for my all these other fees. So that would be great. And yeah, you can also sponsor me on anchor.fm/kdramaschool. There's a monthly sponsorship button there that you could do. The show I'm covering today is 2521. It is written by do-eun, who wrote Search WWW. And I think do-eun is really making her mark as a queer feminist auteur, meaning she is making TV shows that are centered on female friendships that seem like lesbian kinship. So these are shows with cis women who happen to be in hetero relationships, but their hetero relationships are not the core of the story. In fact, the core of the story, the centerpiece and the heart of the story is the relationship among these women, the friendship among these women. And that's been the case with Search WWW, and it's the case with 2521. And it's not even necessarily like a smooth, you know, super perfect kind of friendship. It's got a lot of tension, a lot of rivalry, bitterness, apologetic feelings, like feelings of sorriness and sorrow. And, you know, it just really explores like complicated female friendship relationship dynamics that feel very multi-layered and that feel very intimate. And I really think that do-eun is very much a queer feminist showrunner. And I think she deserves that title. I think she deserves that status because of shows like Search WWW and because of shows like 2521. I really love the fact that it's centered on fencing athletes because it's, you know, it's unique. Like there aren't that many shows that would ever focus on fencing, right? It's not the kind of sport that you would associate Korea with. With Korea, you associate with like soccer, right? Like soccer is huge because of the World Cup. What else? Baseball. I mean, South Koreans sent quite a few baseball players, you know, out internationally. That's really all I can think of. Oh, I guess golf. Yeah, golf is another sport, right? You know, Park City and Michelle Wee, right? Like Korean women in golf, big thing. And yeah, fencing, we don't really hear about or talk about. But so this show is focusing on a marginal sport. And what I loved about the fencing quality of this show is that the athletes, these young girls, after they make a strike, they would scream like this feral banshee like wail, like a guttural scream. And I love that. It's so like cathartic to hear. It's like this primal shout, and there's something about it that just relieves stress for me when I'm hearing it. It actually makes me emotional. I was like emotional every time these girls would scream in TV, like on TV while making their marks. And I was just like, fuck yeah, like I really want to get into fencing now. Like I want to become a fucking fencer, or I don't know, get into like judo or something. I want to get into a sport where I could scream like a motherfucker and that's expected of me, right? Because like I don't know, I think it was moving for me, especially because like I have a very loud voice. Like I just did stand up this evening right across the street at Liquid Zoo, and I was just talking about how like Asian women are fucking loud. They're very noisy. Asian women are so fucking loud, especially like immigrant Asians, so loud. And yet there's this stereotype in white communities in white countries that Asian women are quiet and demure and silent. And so when they see somebody like me being loud, like it's like jarring to people. People freak out. They're like, you gotta shut the hell up. Also in Korea, it's like a very patriarchal society. There's this other expectation or demand that women be quiet. You know, I was always told to be quiet. I was always told to shut up. It's not only because it's like, because I was loud, it's because women are just expected to be quiet. Like it's very much like that patriarchal thing. Like women should not speak unless spoken to, you know, they shouldn't have a voice, they shouldn't have an opinion, they should just be quiet. And if you're a young woman or if you're a young girl, that pressure is even more like heavy, right? Like as a young girl, like if I had things to say, which I did all the time, I was very chatty, I would be told to be quiet. I would be told to shut up. I was made to feel as if my voice and my opinion and my thoughts were worthless, like they didn't matter, right? And this was coming from, you know, family members, like my dad, you know, my mom, adults, you know, authority figures, teachers, pastors, everybody around me, you know? And so you have that added layer of the Korean cultural pressures to silence a female voice. And then in American society, where the stereotype of Asian American women is that they're quiet and, you know, demure and submissive, like there's that other expectation. So it's like this double layer of silencing. And I'm just like, I don't fit the bill, man. I'm fucking loud. I'm noisy. I like screaming. I love yelling. In fact, my favorite kinds of comedy is like when somebody's screaming their heads off. It cracks me up so hard. I can't even tell you why. I just find it so funny when somebody loses their shit and starts screaming. I think it's so hilarious. So I really enjoyed the fencing element of this show. And it kind of, there are overlaps to Search WW, because in Search WW, as we know, Scarlett, she was a judo athlete, right? I really love the rivalry between the two female protagonists on this show, right? On 2521, like they're it's like so clearly love, right? It's like from the get-go, you know, you have this young girl, you have Naido, who is obsessed with Koyurim. Like every Saturday, she goes to see Koyurim. That's her only goal. And she loves Saturdays because she gets to go and spy on Koyurim, right? And she's a fan of Koyurim and she idolizes Koyurim and she wants to become her rival. That is her dream, right? And Koyurim hates her, okay? So they have this clear tension from the get-go. And then later they realize like, oh, they're the ones that have been chatting online this whole time, right? And it's like, think about that. It's like, oh, you're online, you don't know each other, but clearly there's this love, there's this relationship, there's this dependency, and then fucking they realized that they were talking to each other this whole time. I mean, it's like so obviously love, you know? It's like love just, yeah, it's like, why bother? Why bother having these men, right? Why bother giving these girls boyfriends? It's, especially Ko-yurim's relationship with that high school boy, like, it just did not seem believable. It was similar to how in Search WWW, Scarlett's relationship, quote unquote relationship with that guy Pyo-junsu, the guy who was cheating on her with like multiple women. It just did not add up. It's like a woman like Scarlett would never date a guy like that, right? It's nonsense. And I feel like with Ko-yurim would never date a guy like this kid on this show. Like, what's he got that's so... Anyway, my point is, having these guys in there is just like, they're like a scarecrow element, you know? It's like they're just kind of there just to be there and maybe appease censors or appease like more mainstream focused conservative executives who would never say yes to a lesbian story. And this is Kwon Do-eun's way of bypassing that and saying, I'm going to put out a lesbian text, but it's going to be coded for, you know, somebody with a queer lens, which is what I'm doing right now. I'm analyzing it. So 2521, I thought it was a very heartfelt show. What I also found really unique about this show is the fact that, you guys, we know the ending, right? We know the ending. We know the ending is that Naido doesn't end up with Peggy-jin, right? Like, this love that they have on this show, it's not a happy ending. It's not a happily ever after. And that's kind of radical, okay? Because in the past, what typically happened was, you know, somebody would get killed off, right? Like, that's how it's so dramatic, actually. Like, what a bunch of drama queens. Be like, okay, if this love can't work out, then one of them has to get cancer. That's the only way that this love can't work out. Like, we couldn't possibly fathom a breakup where two people break up and then they move on. No, that's not even possible. But this show chooses a breakup, right? And it's like, it's almost teaching a young woman how to break up amicably. Like, what is the best way to break up with somebody? Something we don't ask. You know, that's something that shows don't really explore. How do you end a relationship, right? These shows typically focus on how do you pursue or start a relationship. They don't focus on how do you end a relationship. And that is a fact of life, that you're gonna get into relationships more than once. I mean, ideally. And it's also like, how do you maintain good graces after you break up with somebody, but you continue to run into each other, like in the industry, right? So fascinating. I think Kwon Do-eun is a really, really sharp writer when it comes to exploring themes that have not been explored before. She's very good as a writer who explores the novel, like what is new, what hasn't been done before, what is an uncharted territory. Let's go in there and let's get weird about it. And she's like not afraid to do that. And I find that radical. So I officially declare Kwon Do-eun a queer feminist showrunner, a queer feminist auteur, and I'm excited for all the shows that she will write in the future. I think she will get up there alongside like Kim Eun-suk and No Hee-kyung, right? No Hee-kyung currently has a new show called Arab Blues on Netflix, which is excellent. But yeah, and Kwon Do-eun used to write for Kim Eun-suk. She was Kim Eun-suk's assistant writer before she became her own writer. My guest today is Sophia Zolan. She is a Los Angeles-based actress, writer, and stand-up comedian. I think she's very, very funny, and I think she's a lovely human being, and I really loved her insights during our talk, and I really loved her answers to our flashcard questions. Let's get into it. Let's talk to Sophia Zolan. Yeah, nothing. You're not doing anything for Saturday?
No, I just I might go to like an open mic, which is, not a lame or kind of a lame answer.
No, no, it's not lame.
And I think this week I have 3 birthdays, so I just don't want to do anything. I'm so over
Wow.
socializing right now. Yeah, it's a lot of Aries in my life. No, I just finished. Like yesterday was my last birthday party, and I had to like leave. I was like 11 o'clock. I was like, bye. I don't like any of you anymore.
Yeah. That's the thing about birthdays. It's like when it's your birthday, you want people to come and celebrate you, but then when
Yeah.
it's somebody else's birthday, it's like, sucks.
Okay, well, it's not about me, but I guess I'll come. Whatever. But also just like 3 in 1 week. It's a lot. It's a lot, and it wasn't even like crazy stuff. They were all like just like sensible dinners, but I was still like, ugh, I can't do all this.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're right.
Sometimes a sensible dinner, sometimes a sensible dinner is more effort, you know?
Yeah, because you have to like talk. I like a party because then you're like, okay, bye, I'm over you, and then you can go, drink your face off or whatever. But
Mm.
I'm an Aries moon. Yes, I do believe in this stuff.
Okay, Aries moon. Okay.
Hmm.
Um,
What?
mine mine is February, so I'm a Pisces cusp. Yeah.
Oh, I'm a
Mhm.
Cancer. We get along.
We do get along. Water
Yeah, water
signs.
signs. Ah, jinx.
Yeah. I'm into it too. I like horoscopes.
Yeah. Do you know your rising and your moon? What are they?
Mhm. I'm a Scorpio rising and
Mhm.
Virgo moon.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I
Yeah.
like Scorpios. I feel like Scorpios get a bad rep, but I love. I mean, obviously they're a fellow water sign. I feel like I get them. Um, and
Mhm.
Virgo moon,
Mhm.
interesting. So, are you
Yeah.
like maybe like hyper analytical when with your emotions? Would you say?
Um I'm a hyper analytical person, I would say.
Mm,
Sometimes if I feel like it, you know.
right.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um but I don't know. I have I have friends who are Virgo and I get along with them.
Hmm.
Scorpios, I've always like Scorpios do get a bad rep. I think there's a reason for it. Uh
Hmm.
all the guys that I've dated were Scorpios.
Hmm.
In fact, all of them had the exact same birthday. Can you believe that shit?
What? What was the birthday?
Yeah.
My
I'll
ex-boyfriend
bleep
was a
it out.
Scorpio, and I'm like,
It's
okay, okay. My ex-boyfriend's was,
oh wow, close.
yeah. But I do agree they all have kind of very similar personalities, I guess. I just like, they're very passionate, though I think their negative qualities, they can be jealous and, um, I don't know,
Cunty.
thickly. Yeah. But I kind of think all water signs are. We're very like emotional, and if you hurt us, we're like, die.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think yeah, I guess they are passionate people. They're sensitive, but they like to like repress their sensitivity
Yes,
and
yes,
it comes out in a really harsh way.
yes,
And I think I've just like dealt with too much of that. But
yeah,
I'm definitely like very much attracted to Scorpios. Like
yes,
if I sense like a chemistry with somebody, I'm like I have a feeling
yeah,
that they're like a fall person, and they
yeah,
usually are.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
agree. Yeah, yeah. Usually, like, if I
Hmm.
have chemistry, it's with a fellow water sign, but it's almost always a Scorpio.
Hmm.
Or it's a Gemini, and those I will not date a Gemini again. I dated like with you
Oh
with
yeah.
Scorpios, I dated like 5 or 6 in a row, and they're all the same. They're all like very, they're the twins, so they're very like obsessed with
Uh-huh.
me, and then they're like, and like super, airy fairy. What's the word I'm looking for? That's not the
Oh
word I'm looking
wow.
for.
Airy
Yeah.
fairy. I think maybe they get over things like they're really into it and then they get over it real fast and they move on to the next thing or something like
But then they're
that.
not even fully over it because then they're like they act super like nonchalant and then they're like obsessed again and you're like I don't like this roller
Mm.
coaster. Like I don't understand. Make up your mind.
Yeah, yeah. They never have closure, maybe.
Yeah,
There's never a closure with them. Mm.
yeah, it's very upsetting.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever dated a Gemini.
don't.
I I have a friend who's a Gemini.
Yeah,
Um Yeah.
I can be friends
Yeah,
with
but
Geminis, but yeah, dating them, no.
interesting.
Hmm.
Um yeah, I don't really date people anymore. Uh maybe I should.
I don't know. I don't know if you should. I just deleted the dating apps again because I'm like, I can't. This does not bring me joy. All dudes are the same.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
With the dating, I've been on and off them for like way too long. But it's like for them to ask you a question, impossible. Like just bare minimum conversation skills of like, what's the last concert you went to? And they're just like, Red Hot Chili Peppers. And you're like, cool. Do you want to know the last one I went to, or do you want me to just keep asking you questions? Like I'm getting paid for this. I hate them.
Right. Yeah. That's the thing. That's why I don't like dating apps. I haven't been on them in years. I think I
Good for you.
tried like in 2016, I think, because I
Hmm.
had just moved to LA and I was like lonely and I tried and then I was like, no, I hate this. It's a nightmare.
Yeah, it is a nightmare.
Because you have to start out with like small talk, but it's like on a thing and it feels like
Mm-hmm.
work and
Mm-hmm.
you don't even know if it's worth it because you're just like,
Mm-hmm.
whatever, right? Like, at
Yeah,
least
like
when you see
nobody's
somebody in
invested.
person, right? It's
Yeah,
very like neither of us want to be doing this,
exactly. Yep.
and uh, not into it.
Neither am I.
I know some people who have gotten married from dating
Yeah,
apps,
yeah,
um, but you know, good for them. It's not for me, so
yeah.
I don't fuck with it at all.
Good for you. I feel like sometimes I always go back to them because it feels like my only option because all of my friends are gay men. So
Yeah,
all their friends are gay and they only want to go to
yeah,
WeHo sometimes and
yeah,
then it's like
yeah.
comedy and I don't really want to date another comedian. So what am I left with, you know?
No.
And also I'm like awkward like yeah, like meeting somebody in real life, like that's what I want to happen, but at a grocery
Yeah.
store or something if somebody gives me eyes, if I don't even think I'll notice, but if I do, I'm just like bye and I run away. So I am like fucking myself over.
I know the feeling.
Yeah.
Uh, I feel like there have been many like moments where I could have like where this was
Yes,
like an
me too.
opportunity or like this is like a potential portal into like a date, but then I would do the same thing. I would like shut down
Yes.
or I would shut it down or I would run away out of
Yeah.
like anxiety and fear and also like sometimes disgust because I'm like,
Yeah.
ugh. But I
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah.
Totally get it.
I've just was talking about this last night with a friend. Sorry, I don't know how long we're like supposed to be talking about dating forever, but
No, no,
um,
I like it. Yeah.
also I'm like sweating because I went to run and get a coffee first, and I can't turn the AC in my apartment because it's so loud. So excuse
Mm,
my parents. I
it's
was
all
telling
good.
friends though the other day about like how I turn off the dating apps, and because the
Mm-hmm.
last time I did have, um, just like those the last few guys I've even like, dated or whatever, I'm not like super into them. I'm just like, okay, this is fine.
Yeah.
But the
Y-
last time I was into somebody was somebody I did meet in real life,
Yeah.
and it was in Greece, and it was like ended up being this long
Yeah.
hilarious story, but it was just like a very
Yeah.
organic meet cute, like that I was like, oh my
Yeah.
god, this is like happening in real life, and then it ended terribly. But but my point is, the beginning of it was very fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's how it should be.
I
And
know.
you know, that's and that is how it will be. That is how it's gonna be.
That's right.
Like
Yes, put it
you
out
just
there.
have to decide for yourself that that's how it's gonna be rather
That's
than
right.
say this is my only option and let me go
Yeah.
and do it's like let's not treat dating or love as a white collar job, you know,
Yes.
like
Yep. Like you have to do
going
it.
into the
Yeah.
office and I have to do it because I need the paycheck. It's
Right.
like,
Yeah.
no, you don't have to. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do. And
Yeah.
uh so then like let's come up with like like creative like options like besides dating apps, what other options are there for us to meet somebody in person without
Yeah.
like efforting too much?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like in theory, but this hasn't worked for me yet. Like a
Yeah.
concert would be a cool option. I love going to see live
Yeah,
music. That's
yeah,
like an
yeah.
organic, and there's like an easier way to like
Mm-hmm.
strike up, like I love this song, or like I don't know,
Yes. Yes.
mutual thing. Um, that hasn't
Yeah.
happened
Yeah.
for me yet, but ideally, um,
Yeah. No, it
that
will
could be a fun
happen.
option. Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna go to Coachella and you're gonna like, be like on mushrooms or something, and there's gonna
Yeah.
be some person who's also like vibing out,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
you're both gonna know. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
this is the song that we're gonna play on our wedding day,
Yeah. It's gonna be
and it's gonna be a
fucking like
ridiculous
I
song.
know, right?
Yeah,
It's just gonna be wait, I'm
yeah,
trying to even think of one
like
that could be fun to
electronica,
break up. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like intense EDM.
Yeah.
Yes, fuck
Put it
yeah.
out there, universe. That's funny.
I'm excited for you. I'm excited for your
Thank you so
future. I
much.
think that's gonna be
Me
awesome.
too.
I think
Now that we put it out
concert
there.
is a good idea. Concert's a good
Right?
idea because yeah, there like a lot of people gather there, and the possibilities are very high. Yeah. You also mentioned grocery stores, which is also a thing. Like
Yeah.
supposedly that's I don't know if about the statistics anymore, but like back 10 years ago, they said that's like biggest the highest rated place, like more than bars. Like people
Really?
meet partners at grocery
I
stores
think
more than anywhere else.
what's hard about a grocery store is, for me at least, is like because I'm a little like kind of anxious to like I can meet new people when it's in a setting where meeting new people is like normal, but like starting
Yeah.
up a conversation like you like those apples, or like how do you even start a conversation, you know what I mean? Whereas like I said, a concert, you're like, oh, that it's more like socially acceptable to like talk to strangers there.
Mm,
They're not going to be like, the fuck are you talking to
true.
me for? Whereas like a grocery store feels a little bit more intimidating.
and
But
and I think it's also because like that I saw those stats more than 10 years ago, because
right.
now when we go grocery shopping, everybody has headphones on,
Yes.
you know on the phone. Yeah, it's I think the whole headphone thing is also like what's
Yes.
diminishing our possibilities of meeting one another, because I have these AirPod Pros, and they have noise canceling that's like better than any noise canceling headphones I've had, because they're in your ears and they cancel noise. So you really
Wow.
can't hear jack shit,
Yeah.
really. And what if somebody was being like, "Hey," like
Yeah.
talking to me about something, and I'm just like I look like a dick because I'm
Yeah.
ignoring them,
Yeah. Yeah. I don't
Yeah,
know
so I
why,
think
like,
headphones are doing that
yeah.
too.
I've started to not use them as much. Also, it's funny. I don't know why for me, like, I get so nervous using noise canceling headphones. I don't know why I'm always like, am I heavily breathing too much? Like, I'm always just like, you know, like I want to be
Yeah,
able to hear
yeah.
somewhat of myself, make sure I'm not like, like, I don't know. It's a weird quality that
Yeah,
I,
nobody hears it because they're also wearing noise canceling
yeah,
headphones.
exactly.
Like
Yeah.
literally nobody can hear it.
Yeah.
It's not, I don't think it's a good thing. It's also made my tolerance for noise like a lot,
Oh yeah, because you're like
lower.
more
Yeah.
sensitive. Yeah. I also like, this
Yeah.
is kind of a shift, but I did this course during the pandemic. It was called the I've been talking about it so much. It's called the Science of Well-being, or it was like kind of
Huh.
colloquially known as like the happiness course. And it
Uh-huh.
was done
Uh-huh.
through Yale, and they did it for free. And anyway, it
Oh.
was just very interesting because it talks about like the psychology of happiness and why our brains are geared to make us safe, not happy. And so they give you all these kind of tools to like recalibrate or navigate your brain's like tendencies to keep you safe, but and you want to like, no, do this. And one of the things they say is
Huh.
like socializing is a thing that makes us very happy. We're human beings, we're social beings,
Mhm.
not so much, not
Mhm.
only just with your friends, but kind of random
Mhm.
day to day, having these
Mm.
little conversations with a
Yeah.
barista, or just like a stranger
Right.
walking their dog passing you by. And so I've been trying to
Right.
like do that more, even if it's like makes you uncomfortable, because at the end of the day, it does make me happier to like, oh my god, I had such a great time at Trader Joe's just chatting up the cashier, and we like had this random connection,
Yeah.
you know? So yeah, I try not to put the
Yeah,
headphones in anymore.
and that's a good idea. And Trader Joe's is a great place for that because those cashiers are super fucking
Oh my
chatty,
god,
almost
so
to like
nice.
a fault.
I was like, "Are we in a relationship? You're flirting with me. I know it. You get trained really well."
Yeah. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's like part of their job like requirement to be
Yeah.
that way cuz every time I go I'm like this is a nightmare. They want to know too much about me. But I I think you're right. I think that's a really I think that's good advice. Uh yeah, like I mean during the lockdown all of us were, very much isolated and blah 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 and we all were making our own efforts to be social in some way, but like nothing really beats like an interpersonal kind of
Yeah.
um thing like in
Yeah.
person, like just a very
Totally.
brief thing like you say like getting coffee or being at the checkout. And I was like, I mean, I live alone, and
Same.
like as comics, like, we go out at night, like during the day, like we stay home a lot, and I was feeling very like maybe numb. I guess numb is the best way to put it because
Mhm.
it's like I'm not depressed, I'm not sad, but I'm not feeling anything. And then
Mhm.
it was like a friend's birthday, another comic. It was her birthday, and she had everybody meet up at some like bar in Highland Park where they had like a patio.
Ooh.
And I stayed for like 45 minutes, an hour. But then as I was driving home, like I was like feeling way better,
Mhm.
like felt this
Mhm.
like uplift. And I was like,
Mhm.
man, that was like such a brief thing, but it recharged me in some way.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think it's necessary in some ways. Yeah.
It's necessary for our human health.
Yeah, agreed.
Wow. This is the thing that I need to like get on board because like, because you're also an actress, right?
Yeah, I started out as an actress. Like I got my degree in theater. Very stupid.
Yeah.
So many student loans. But
Wow.
I now kind of I veered a little bit towards more writing. Only, and I kind of, because I just didn't love what it took to be an actress, which is like take your new headshots every 5 seconds that are like incredibly expensive, and then the only
Yeah.
auditions you'll get are for like some Honda commercial that you don't even care about. So I
Right.
kind of put that on the back burner. Now I'm a little bit more, interested in doing it again. I'm just very like, I only want to do comedy. Like I don't have any interest to
Mm.
be like a dramatic actress at all. So I'm not like,
Hmm.
yeah. But yeah, in short, I feel like I'm an
Okay.
actor and a writer. Yeah. Are
Okay.
you an actor
That's
too?
dope. Like right. No, I have an agent now, but I don't really consider myself an actor. Not
Mm-hmm.
really. Uh, I would. I mean, I like to fancy myself a filmmaker. I'm a director,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. Same.
and I want to keep that going. But
Same.
yeah, I don't really have training in acting. I guess I took one acting class in college, but I didn't major in theater. um, I don't think there's anything wrong with majoring in theater. You're learning a definite skill. What I meant by saying I have a lot to learn from like actors is, uh, actors are down to take classes. They're always down to
Mm-hmm.
learn.
Yeah.
Like learn something new, like explore something new. Like when it comes to that, they have no trepidation or doubt about it. They're just like down to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And like with me, since I'm more like I like come from writing fiction and things like that, and like writers are very like solitary people and like arrogant and know-it-alls, and it's like it's hard for me to put that down and be like, oh, I want to take this class and I want to learn this and I want to know more about it. It's hard for me to do that, but I want to try and do that more because that's the only way you could expand your world, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I remember, and I was kind of joking about the theater degree thing. I actually wouldn't change anything. I would have done it again.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
loved my college experience so much, and well,
Yeah.
if I'm in a little bit of debt, um, but I
Yeah.
remember there was I think his name was John Glover, who
Mhm.
he's a big actor. I don't know why I'm forgetting. I'm second guessing his name, but he's like won
Uh-huh.
Tonys, and he's been on Smallville, I think. But anyway, he
Uh-huh.
still took classes like, as I mean,
Yeah.
he's like big time, and he's still taking classes
Yeah.
just to like sharpen his skills. And I think there's a lot of like humility to that, which because you can be very well be like, I
Yes.
don't need to take this like level one class or whatever, but it's like
Yeah.
it'll help you out. Yeah. So,
Exactly. Exactly. I like that's what I really admire about actors is like as you say it's the humility. It's like always in a learning mode and
Yeah.
being like there's always, room for me to learn something new and grow and like,
Yeah.
like they're just down with it. I think that's a nice thing.
Yeah.
Um where did you study theater?
Towson University. Pretty much the
Okay.
only people that went there that is like that are known are John Glover and Amy Schumer went there. So she was
Oh,
like in our
wow.
theater program too. But yeah, other than that,
Okay, sweet.
they actually did have a very good theater program. But yeah, it
Where
wasn't like
is
known for that.
Towson?
It's right outside Baltimore.
Oh, wow. I'm
Hmm.
actually gonna go to Baltimore this month.
Oh, really? For why?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. For why?
For
I'm
why?
going for why I'm going for a festival to screen the short doc that I made and to do a couple shows.
Oh,
So
that's
I'll be in
awesome.
Baltimore
What's
end
the
of this
short
month. Yeah, yeah,
doc
yeah.
you made about, or if you're allowed to talk about it?
It's about this 100-year-old Japanese American auto mechanic and his
Ooh.
little auto shop in East LA.
Oh my God, I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
that the
yeah.
kind of directing you typically want to do is like documentaries?
I like documentaries, but no, I want to do narratives. Like
Okay.
I was at UCLA for a while and I really wanted to take a directing class, but they wouldn't let like cinema media studies students take a narrative directing class. They had
Oh.
a documentary directing class. Yeah, UCLA is very like fucking like that.
Mm.
And there was a documentary class. The professor was newly hired and nobody was taking documentary directing. So I was like, all right, I'll take since there was an opening, I took it and my professor was amazing and yeah, I got to learn like some basic things, and it's also
Hmm.
very like independent. Like I shot the whole thing by myself, even though like I wasn't particularly good with the camera. I was like, doing sound alone and then I was editing alone. And then
That's
later during post, I hired more people to help me out. But
yeah.
I liked the independent quality of documentary
Yeah.
filmmaking very much.
That
Whereas with
is
narratives, you
very
can't. You have to hire a whole fucking crew. And
I know. I was talking to somebody about that recently because I've only actually co-directed things. Actually, this is like this web series that I wrote a long time ago when web
oh,
series were
nice.
still a thing, but I technically co-directed it. Um, and I want to take the training wheels off and like just direct something myself because it's been so long since I've made something. I think you can talk yourself
Yeah.
out of it. You're like, oh, I don't really know like
Oh,
camera
yeah.
angles that well, or like
Oh,
I have
yeah.
to hire a
Mm-hmm.
sound person. And but I
Mm-hmm.
recently wrote a horror comedy short, and I'm just like, I'm gonna make this. So
Do
now
it.
I'm,
Do
yeah,
it.
I am. I'm, yeah. Thank you for encouraging, because I think it's so
Yeah.
easy to talk yourself out of it, and we need more lady
Always.
directors in
With
general.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
We can
Hmm.
talk ourselves out of going to the gym, you know?
Hmm.
Like it's something as minute as that. And of course,
Mhm.
we could talk ourselves out of something bigger,
Mhm.
because it's bigger, right?
Mhm.
But fucking do it. I'm excited for
Yeah.
you.
Thank
And
you.
like a horror comedy short, that's like a definitive genre. And there's like
Mhm.
a definite audience and market and festivals for it. Like, fuck
Yeah.
yeah. You
Yeah.
can do it.
Thank
And
you.
also,
Thank you.
the way I see it is like because I don't know jack shit about like camera angles and blah blah. I don't know any of that, but
Yeah.
because I have a short film that I wrote that I've been in pre-production with for like 6 months, and then I was gonna shoot it this August, and then the producer like got sick and had to drop out. Like this
Ugh.
happened 2-3 weeks ago, and I'm still kind of getting over the shock of it and the disappointment of it.
Mhm.
And the whole time I was like, I've never directed a narrative. I've produced narratives, I've never directed one. But all you have to do is hire a really good first AD.
Mhm. Yeah.
And they do all the fucking work.
Yes.
Hire
Yeah.
a really good first AD, hire a producer who has line producing experience, and hire a DP. If you have those three
Yeah.
people, the film
Yeah.
is made.
Yeah.
So,
And that's what I'm trying to remember too. It's like I
yeah.
think especially women, we like think we have to do everything, like I have to know
Yeah.
all these things. And really it's like, yeah, you delegate. You say like you're the person, you're the
hmm
cinematographer, you're the DP, you know about you will
Mhm.
tell me like, oh,
Mhm.
I feel like we can use this angle, and that would give like a sense of,
Yeah.
fear and things that I'm like, oh, okay, I didn't think
Yeah.
about that. So I don't have to know everything. Other
Yeah.
people can tell me things. I have a
Yes.
certain vision for how I want these things, but I'm open to, you know.
Exactly.
So yeah, you're right. I think it's just another way of self sabotage when you're like, too bad I don't know how to do this, can't make it, and I'm not going to do that
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
There are plenty of people who went to film school who are like expert at that, know how to do it and willing to do it, want to do it, are good at
yeah,
it. And it's like, yeah, you just ask them, can you do this? And they fucking do it. And it's like, and
yeah,
then it starts getting made, it starts getting done. And I think that's what makes filmmaking like, it's like magic, right? Because it's like, oh,
yeah,
you you have a certain like idea of how you want life to be or a certain picture of life in your head, and then it fucking becomes a visual thing,
yeah,
right? I mean,
yeah,
I still find that really wild.
totally. Yeah, especially when it like exceeds your expectations in some way. Because there's I've witnessed both, where something I've written and kind of given to another person to direct, and I'm like, you ruined
Yeah.
it. None of the jokes are landing because you ruined it.
Yeah.
And then there's other times you're
Mm,
like, oh my god, this is so much like better, not even what I thought of, and it's very cool to see your idea made.
right.
Yeah,
It's such a wild thing. And
totally.
yeah, I feel lucky that we're in this business doing what we do, because it's like it's fucking fun when it
Yeah.
I guess from being a writer though, yeah, there is that. It's like as a writer you write it because you're envisioning something, but then once it goes into somebody's hands to
Yep.
execute the visuals,
Yep.
you gotta like let it go, but it's hard
Yeah,
to,
it's
because when
hard
you were
to.
writing it, it was very vivid in your mind a
Yeah.
certain
And
way.
especially like you start to realize that now that like being in the industry, you kind of realize how many hands are a part of something, and like
Yeah.
it's just difficult to make a good thing because I know a lot of people that like they're super funny and then they got a show made and their show was like
Hmm.
terrible, and I know that it's like either the directing tinkered around with it or like studio notes tinkered around with it, and
Mm.
because I'm like, you're funny, I know that whatever you originally made was probably great, but all these other
Hmm.
hands had a part in it, and so it's very difficult for all those hands to be on the same page and execute something to be its best thing. So yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that's absolutely right. Like I took one development class when I was at UCLA, and the way that they were just talking about filmmaking, I was like, holy shit, this is why there's so many bad films, because
Mm-hmm.
like in development, the producer's job is to change as much as they can in the script. And if they
Mm-hmm.
don't say what they should change, then they either get fired
Get
or they
fired.
get looked
Yeah.
at weirdly. Yeah. And I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
oh my God, so this is what they run on. They run on fear and anxiety and the
Mm-hmm.
requirement to go in and change things
Fix.
up,
Yeah.
even though
Yeah.
they have no stakes in it. They don't care
Mm-hmm.
about it. They don't even
Yeah. I know. It's
know
like
if it's
sad. You're like,
right.
why can't they just like trust the create? Like, obviously, if there's room to like make something better, of course. But like, why can't they just be like, this is
Sure.
great, let's make it? But there's
Yeah.
like a need. I don't know, to not
Hmm.
trust the original creative person involved.
Yeah. And I asked about that. Like the professor, he used to be an executive at New Line, and
Mm-hmm.
a very well-respected company. I love their films. I asked
Mm-hmm.
him, I was like, what if a script is just good as it is? And he was like, it will never ever be just good as it is. There's
Mm-hmm.
always room to go in and change things. And I was like, all right. And it's like,
Yeah.
okay, maybe there's some truth to that, but uh, should it be an executive's job to do that is the question,
Right.
rather than
Right.
like the director who was hired to come on board, or like
Right. Somebody who's
the
like part of the
writer
creative process.
themselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
It's almost better to just come in with like an idea and then develop that way so that you're like, great, then when I
Mm,
actually write this, I'll be making what you want to make. I'm sure they'll still say for changes rather than have a full script and then get it
right.
hacked away at.
Mm-hmm.
Something like
Yeah.
you want to purposely make it worse just to be like in a, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, just to not look like an idiot in the meeting, you know. That's
Mhm.
I mean that's kind of how they're, you know, driven. And I was just like, "Oh, like this is why all of you guys are stressed out all the time and, you know,
Mhm.
like drinking and doing drugs all the time because you
For
guys are
real.
unhappy." I don't know.
Yeah.
So, okay, so you're also a writer. Then is that like one of your like goals? Like you want to be a comedic actress and you also want to be like a writer for TV or film?
Yes. I always say like, and I know this is, not the most like unique thing to say, but like I want Tina Fey's kind of career as far as like she gets to write,
Mhm.
act, and produce the things
Mhm.
that she makes, and like that's what I want to
Yeah.
be. That ideally.
Yeah.
Um.
Yeah.
So yeah. What about
I
you?
think that's
Is
a
that
good dream to have. It's a good goal to
yeah?
have. Me?
hmm
Um I don't really care to be like in front of the camera so much. Like I would just do whatever bare minimum I need to do in order to like uh become more well known as a stand up. Like that's my
Mm.
first thing is being a stand up,
Mm.
and then um like I write books and writing books and directing films, like all of that I want to support my stand-up career in some way, which is like a weird
Mm.
way of going about it since you have to be in front of the camera and you have to be well known in like TV or film in order to get your stand-up career more well known, but
Mm.
like
Mm.
um and it's also something I'm struggling with, I guess. Like I'm a bit shy. Like I'm a little bit shy
Mm.
and like
Same.
I don't know about like how I feel about being in front of the camera a lot, something I'm working on. But
Mm.
yeah, like I want to be a headliner. That's the goal. And
Yeah.
you know, writing books and directing films, I would like to do that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm kind of struggling in the reverse way maybe cuz I originally like I started stand up kind of later um
Mm,
cuz I think I was shy or I was like I'm not really good at like public speaking. I'm not really like a set up punchline
yeah.
person.
It's scary. Stand up
Um
scary. Yeah.
It is scary, yeah. And but then I did it, and I was like, and also stand up was actually my first love as far as like what drew me to comedy. Like obsessively watched stand up growing
Oh,
up.
yeah.
Um, so, but now that I'm doing it, I really love it. I just always felt like it would be the thing to take me to the writing and directing part. But now it's almost like stand up is actually going better, like, and that's more organically growing as opposed to, So I'm almost like I don't know what I want. I want just to live a life where like comedy and creativity gets me enough money where I can like travel and do what I love and work with cool people and I don't know exactly what that looks
Yeah.
like. But yeah.
Yeah. I think that's a good goal to have, and I think it's also fine to like be open to the way that things are flowing, like according to their own pace, you know? Like
Mhm.
just because something is going slightly better right now doesn't necessarily mean that like that will only be. um
Yeah. It's true.
I was listening to what's his face, he's the showrunner for Sopranos. um
Oh, I forgot
Chase,
his
is it
name.
David Chase, is that his name?
Yeah.
um it sounds something like that. Anyway, but his whole dream since he was like a kid was to be a filmmaker. He wanted to be a screenwriter for film and he wanted to direct films. He wanted to make films. But his whole career was television, you know?
Mm. Mhm.
That's all it was. And then like in his 70s, he makes that Sopranos movie, right? The one that barely made a blip. Like
I know. I was like, The
in the
Sopranos had a movie. It did. I was like,
barely
I
made
only
a
know the
blip
TV
in the
show.
zeitgeist.
Yeah. Yeah.
They had like a prequel kind of movie
Oh,
for,
literally never knew that.
yeah, James
Ugh.
Gandolfini's son is in it playing the young
Oh,
the young Tony Soprano.
okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I did
You
watch
know
it
what,
here, but that's
the movie's not bad. It's actually, I thought it was a decent film.
mm,
But like I was just like, wow, like he was so successful as a TV showrunner, and he could have like done this other stuff, but like I don't know, and some of it is kind of like how the industry works and how the world works and whatever, but there's this other part. It's like if you really want it, there are ways to make it happen, you
Oh
know?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
And uh if your goal is Tina Fey's career, fucking
Mm-hmm.
yeah, why
Yeah,
not, you know?
totally.
Like um I like Judd Apatow's career. I'm like I want to be like
Mm-hmm.
Judd Apatow cuz
Mm-hmm.
he started out as a comic and then
Mm-hmm.
made a bunch of comedian friends and then just started making movies with those friends, and then he
Yeah.
continues to work with his same few ensemble people and
Yeah.
directs films the way he wants to direct them and make
Yep.
movies that he loves to make. um and then he had a fucking Netflix special.
Oh, I
you
never
know
saw. I forgot about that. Yeah, I haven't seen that. Is it good?
he has a
Okay.
no, I mean, yeah, it's all right, it's just whatever. But is it great? No, no, no. um
uh, yeah, I think he said something like, or I had read his one book, or I don't remember where I read this actually.
mhm.
Where he also got into directing because he was like, I wasn't like, oh, I always wanted to be a director. He just like wrote things, and he's like, I want to be in charge of how this comes across. Which I
Oh,
think that's why
interesting.
I want is I'm like, because I've already have written things that have not been directed the way I wanted. That I'm like, I want to do everything.
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think, but that is the director's mentality. I mean, that is the director's, that's what makes you a writer director,
Right. Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Doable. I say it's feasible. I think totally
Thank you.
feasible. It will be done.
Yeah.
Why not?
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Why
Yeah.
not? Why do we always like talk ourselves
Do
out of things?
you
Why are other people? Yeah. Sorry.
exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Like
Hmm.
people who seem far less ambitious like get shit done all the time, make it
Totally.
happen. And
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
well, why not? Why not?
Yeah. That's right.
Do you go to Greece often?
I don't compare it to other Greek people because we grew up poor. And my
Mm,
all my other relatives go like all the time. But
mm-hmm.
I have more recently now. Like I said, I went last summer. I went 2 summers before that. And this
Mm-hmm.
summer, I'm actually potentially going to go to Italy with a friend. And if I can go to
Mm,
Greece for a little bit, that'd be cool too. But yeah, I love
yeah.
Greece. Obviously, the food is delicious. The
Yeah.
people are great. And my favorite thing to do is swim in the sea. It's like the best
Oh
thing
my
ever.
God. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No,
Yeah,
I think Greece looks so fucking beautiful. I've never
it
been to
is.
Greece, but all my friends have been there, and I'm just like, holy shit, that water is so
It's
beautiful.
stupid. Yeah, it's like crystal clear, and also it's very salty. So, and there's no current because it's sea. So you can just like swim out into like the depths of the water, and it's like super deep, but it's easy to
Yes.
swim because it's so salty, and
Yes.
it's the best. And like your skin gets really smooth from it too. And there's all this like
Yeah.
lore that it like tones your body because of the salt. Like it's
Yeah.
just I love it.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
trying to get my Greek citizenship, which has been a nightmare. Because I there's just like so many things involved. Like essentially, all I have to do is register my parents' marriage in Greece and then register my
Uh-huh.
birth. Which also kind of
Okay.
doesn't make sense why I need to register their marriage because they were both born in Greece. They could have never gotten
Yeah.
married and just had me, and I should still be able to get my citizenship. But
Right.
whatever,
Yeah.
but that has already been an ordeal to try to get like information from people in the Greek embassy is a nightmare. And we finally
Oh,
like registered my parents' marriage, but it's been a year and I don't know if it's gone through yet. Like it's just ugh, it's so annoying because I should be
interesting.
easy, but it's not.
Well, I mean, also, like they're a little more
I
lax
know.
over there,
That's what I'm
like
saying. I'm like,
the Greeks and the Italians, they're kind of like,
yeah,
what's the rush?
exactly. 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 And I'm like, listen, I love that when I'm vacationing because they're really like, today I'm not going to work. I don't feel like going to work. I'm just going to go to the beach. And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I
Yeah.
love this life. But then you want to get like paperwork done, and they're like, I don't know when it's ready. Sorry. And I'm like, do you have like a
And
time
you're like,
frame? They're
fuck
like,
you.
yeah, exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
no, when I feel like
Uh,
it. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah, when
yeah.
it's ready, I guess that's when it's ready. I'm like,
Yeah.
nah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's great when you're like
Okay.
wanting that, but when you're wanting something done, it's difficult.
Yeah. But why do you want a Greek citizenship? I find that fascinating.
I think there's just a part of me. Well, first off, because Greece is part of the EU, I could technically live
Yeah.
anywhere in Europe
Oh
and like
yeah.
not have to worry about
Fuck
like
yeah.
all the shit you have to go through. So that's cool to me.
Mhm.
And I
Yeah.
think yeah, maybe I see myself living there for at some point in my life. My
Mhm.
well, this is another thing to kind of clusterfuck, but my grandma on my dad's side has a house there that potentially she left to like my dad passed away, so and he was the black sheep of the family, so I don't exactly know if
Mm.
it's even possible to get in on that property, but
Mhm.
either way, I just see myself maybe someday if I have the money and whatnot to like get a
Mhm.
place there and just like live there whenever I want, and I just like want the option.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. I like that dream. You're manifesting it
yeah,
by, wading through
yeah.
this Greek bureaucracy.
So annoying. But
It will
yes,
get done.
thank you
I love that.
for
Yeah.
remembering.
Europe is a really wonderful place to live. I
Yeah,
think it's a good idea to like want property there and want part of your life there because it's so beautiful compared to America. Like, I
yeah.
mean, there are some beautiful cities in the US. What part of this US did you grow up in?
I grew up in Maryland, right outside DC.
Oh, okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
All
What
right,
about
that's
you?
cool. Both, they're both great. I grew up in the East Coast. I'm from New York.
Okay.
Um, so like, like parts of New York, like Chicago's very beautiful. Like you have these like very beautiful cities, but then uh, elsewhere it's like quite hideous. But like, right? Like, but
Mm,
like Paris, for instance, is like, what the fuck? It's like it's so much like beautiful buildings, like beautiful streets. It's like insane.
yeah,
And like I lived in Berlin for about like 7 months, and I'm like, this
I
is like
heard.
such a great life here. People are
I
so
want to go to
chill. Like
Berlin. I hear it's like New York in the 80s. That's and it
it
seems like
is
a very cool
so
city.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, next time you go to Greece, just like hop a fucking, Ryanair
Well,
to Berlin, and you
yeah.
can do a lot of stand up in Berlin too, actually. It's actually a really
Ah,
good place to go and do stand up. So
holy
if
shit,
you
I
go to
might have
Berlin,
to.
let me know
My
and I'll
cousin
put you in touch with
who
people.
he's oh, thank you, I will, because my cousin who he's lives in Greece, but they went to Germany, not Berlin. I forget, and they're a little bit further away from Berlin. Now I'm forgetting what city they're in, but they left because Greece's economy was like, so they were like, "We're
Mhm.
bye," and they
Mhm.
had a baby, so they went to
Mhm.
Germany. But I've been wanting to
Mhm.
visit him in general and go to Berlin, so I will
Yeah.
definitely hit you up about stand
Go.
up people.
Go, go,
Yeah,
go, go, go. Yeah. And they
yeah,
have like really fun clubs, like yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
uh-huh.
But yeah, go in the summer. Summer is really nice. Summers
Yeah.
there are like so beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Where else have you
excited
been
for
in
your
Europe?
European future.
Thank you. Me
Um,
too.
I've been to Spain, so I've been
Mm,
to Barcelona. I've been to Sevilla. I went to uh Palma. I went to the beach there.
okay.
So the
Spain is
oceans
another
you
one that
speak
I
of, I
want to.
so
Yeah,
nice. Yeah,
I
yeah.
know.
Like
I've always.
like you could just dive off a cliff and nobody, like no lifeguards are like, right? Because in the
Yeah.
States you have
Yeah.
lifeguards saying no, don't do anything because you're gonna die
Yeah.
and we're gonna get sued. But there it's
Yeah.
like everybody's just sitting on the cliffs, diving off the cliffs, doing their thing. Nobody,
Yeah.
everybody's chill, and the
Totally.
water is
Yeah.
fucking phenomenal.
It's
Yeah, yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
Yeah.
um where else? I've been to Copenhagen. Copenhagen has really great food.
Mm.
Been to, I mean, that's the shitty thing about Berlin. Like the food is not very good. German food is
Mm.
terrible. So they
Yeah.
like
What is
I
it's
ate a
like?
lot of falafel there, and I ate a lot of
Mm.
Vietnamese food there. A lot of Vietnamese people in Berlin.
Oh, interesting.
Um,
What is
mhm.
Berlin? Is
A
that
lot of Viet.
is German food like sausages, like bratwurst? What is German food really?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
it's like meat, potatoes, bread, cheese. like heavy shit. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like nice, like their bread is really 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 good, but then after a while it's like I can't
Ugh.
keep eating like this. I'm
Yeah.
gonna die, you know? Yeah, especially in the summer, like you can't just
Yeah.
their beer is amazing and their beers are very cheap and you could drink beers anywhere all over the place, you know? I mean, I don't
Yeah.
drink anymore, so that's gone now,
Good for
but
you.
like fuck yeah, their beers are so
Yeah.
good.
Ugh,
Um, where
that's
else?
nice.
I've been to Amsterdam. Amsterdam was, you know, it was
Mm-hmm.
Amsterdam. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah. Um, I've been to Rome. Um,
Okay.
yeah, I've been all over. Oh, I
Yeah,
went to
you've been a lot of
Poland
places.
briefly.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like when you're in Europe for a while, you just end up going to all the places. It's just like a
Yeah.
given. Yeah. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like why wouldn't you? Because flights are
Totally.
so cheap, you know, like 50 to $70 and you can be anywhere, you know,
Yeah.
and they're very close to one another, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Been to London, of course. It's just like,
How long
yeah,
did you
just
live in
park
Berlin for?
yourself. I I started going like every summer since 2018. So as a
Mm.
US citizen, you can be in Europe for 3 months without a visa. So I would go
Mm.
and
Mhm.
spend 3 months in Europe, like 90 days. And during those 90 days, I would like park myself in Berlin because the rent is also cheaper in Berlin. And then I would like travel all over. I would do stand up in Berlin almost every single night. And then I would fly away somewhere. I would like go to another country or come back to the States, stay for a little bit, and then I would go back for another 3 months. But then,
Ah.
you know, Germany is like their winters are terrible, so summers are the best time to go. So I would just try and go like every summer. I
Mhm.
did spend one winter there. It actually wasn't too bad, but like it is a bit gloomy.
Mhm.
But yeah, I spent like 7 months, total of 7 months in Berlin
That's so cool.
between
Do you speak German?
2018 and 2019. No, I took like one German class when I was in college, but like in Berlin, you don't need to speak any German. There are a lot of
Mhm.
expats who live there, and there are some expats who just never learn German and they just get by. So
Okay.
it's very English friendly city.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Go to
that's
Berlin.
great. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm putting that on my list.
yeah. You gotta. Okay,
Yeah.
I do this in all of my podcasts. I ask a series of flashcard questions based on a specific Korean drama, and it's
Okay.
just improv. Like you just answer like, what would you do if you were this person in these circumstances? Right?
Okay.
Simple enough.
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay. The show I'm going to talk about is 2521. It's on Netflix. It's a new, fairly new K drama. The season just ended. So let's say you're a high school girl, you're a fencing student, and your name is Hido, and you idolize another high school girl who is your age. Her name is Yurim. She's at another school and she's a gold medalist. So like you totally admire her fencing skills. You admire the fact that she's a gold medalist and like she's like your like idol, right? You transfer schools because your school's fencing is now kaput. So you go to her school and you're so excited to like be her peer and like work with her. But when you get there, she hates you. She like ignores you. She insults you. She treats you like shit. What do you do?
No. I keep trying to make her like me forever. I never stop trying to make her like me.
Okay.
I would just
Yeah.
find other interests of hers and try to, I don't know, bond with her over it.
Yeah. I like that. Very healthy answer.
Yeah,
Yes. Yes.
people pleaser for sure.
Okay. Okay. Let's say you're now a guy. You're a man, you're a 20-year-old man named Yi-jin, and you used to be
Mhm.
part of a very wealthy family. Your father's company, however, went bankrupt during the IMF crisis. This happened in 1997. Like all of Asia went like bankrupt. And your father divorced your mother so that she could avoid being burdened by his debt. And he like went into hiding because like people who are CEOs of bankrupt companies, they have to serve a prison sentence and it's like this whole nightmare. So he went into
Mm.
hiding. And then there were these smaller companies that your father set up under your younger brother's name, and he's in middle
Mhm.
school. So these strange men keep showing up at his school and haranguing him, harassing him,
Oh.
demanding to know where your father is. What do you do?
Oh boy, this is hard. I don't know. I disguise my brother. I put a fake mustache on him and take him to my high school and parade him around as a new student.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
To get him away from the middle
Good.
school. I don't know why I would assume that the guys couldn't find him anymore, but in my brain it will
Yeah.
work.
Yeah. Big thick mustache. Yeah. That'll do
Yeah.
it. Okay. I love it. Yeah.
He's a new high school student. Look at his
Okay.
mustache.
Yeah. Look how big and thick it is. Yeah. All right. Okay, let's say you're that fencing student chick again. You're Hido again, all right? Your
Mm-hmm.
mother is a very famous news anchor, okay? Your
Mm-hmm.
father died when you were just a kid. On the night of his funeral, your mother did not show up because there was a news break and she had to work. And this fact haunts you whenever you butt heads with your mom. And
Mm-hmm.
she's just as negligent in your own life, like not showing up to your games and this and that, and you're really pissed about it. What do you do?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I would tell her a piece of my mind in like a very long monologue that really puts her in her place and makes her question
Yeah.
everything and quits her
Yeah.
career. Stop putting her career first, puts your family first because of the
Yeah.
things I say. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Very good. Yeah.
Yeah, I need to watch
Okay.
the show. 2521, is it?
Yeah. It's a
Okay.
pretty good show. Um,
Mhm.
it's very different from other shows I've seen.
Mhm.
Okay. Let's say you're that guy again, Yijin. Okay.
Mhm.
You get a job as a rookie news anchor. And part of your job is to
Mm.
find a payphone, not a cell phone, because cell phone services can get cut off. You have to find a payphone and call the station to read your news prompt live from the scene of the story. Like that's part of your job. And
Okay.
you have your whole story typed up on your laptop, and you're like in a hotel room. You call in, and you're live on the air, ready to deliver your story. And when it's your cue, your laptop screen suddenly goes blue.
Ugh.
Everything is lost and your computer crashed. What do you do?
Uh-huh. Okay. I mean, I feel like it okay, so I would first I would be like, "Oh god." And then I would like try to remember what I wrote, but then I would be like,
Yeah.
"No." And then I throw it away and I'd be like, "Let's get real, you guys." And then I would like tell something like very I would reveal like a big truth and it would be even more inspiring because I was talking from the heart instead of like having to read this prompt. And I would like, yeah,
Mm.
make a big comment about the world that we need to fix. Yeah, it would actually end up being going well for me.
Yeah. Okay, nice. I like that. Yeah, when
Hmm.
in doubt, speak from the heart. Yes.
Yeah, even if it's news, you know.
Yeah. Make it very heartfelt. Got it. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
news should be more heartfelt.
Always. Okay. Let's say you're that fencing student girl again, Hido. You're at
Hmm.
the Asian Games. It's like a big deal. And your opponent is your rival, Yurim, the chick that hates you.
Okay.
And guess what? You beat her. Yeah. It was a really
Okay.
close game, but there was a
Uh-huh.
tiebreaker and you beat her. But there's an
Okay.
argument in the media that the referee made a bad call and gave the point to you. And you want to celebrate your gold medal, but everybody's bad mouthing you because of the press and their bias for Yurim because she's their gold medalist. What do you do?
Right. Ooh, this one's hard. Let's see here. I feel like I would um mm, like tell a friend, you know, just like how upset I am, and then I feel like that friend would give me some like advice that's like doesn't matter what they say, you know, in your heart what's real, and then I would feel better, and I would be like a
Yeah.
really good sport about it because
Oh,
also I
okay.
know like it means more to you, Deem. Yeah.
Mm.
She needs this.
Okay. All
She, you
right.
know.
Yeah. Okay. Shit. All right. Wow. Such a mature high school
I know I'm a
student. Yeah.
very yeah. I'm a very cool high school student. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, got it together. Okay, good. All right, all right, all right. Now you're Yudim in this situation, okay? So you're
Okay.
Yudim. You have an online friend that you've been chatting with online
Mhm.
for a couple of years now. You just only know each other through your screen names. You don't know anything else about each other, but you guys are like besties online. You talk to each other about everything, about fencing, about your daily woes and joys as high school students. And one day, you and your online buddy decide to meet in person. And the
Mhm.
way that you'll be able to tell who's who is by bringing a single yellow rose to this public park, and you show up
Mhm.
on the day of the meeting and you see that your online friend is Hido, that girl you've been mistreating this whole time.
I knew that.
What do you do?
I feel like at first I would be like, no, and I would like throw the rose and I would like try to walk away. Like, that's not, you're not, no, you're different. That's not you. And like, I would like try to like look for somebody else
Uh-huh.
with a yellow rose. Like, I couldn't accept it. But
Yeah.
then I feel like
Yeah.
gradually we would realize that we're meant to be friends because we have a lot in common. And so I think I would
Yeah.
like open up to her and give her a chance to like let her in,
Mm.
not see her as a rival
Mm.
anymore.
Yeah.
Trying to give all
Yeah.
these
See
happy
her as
endings.
a. Yeah. No, it's good. Yeah, let's give him happy endings. Why give him a sad ending? Fuck.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, that's sweet. Yeah. So you would kind of like let your anger and all your resentment and angst sort of go and let her
Yeah,
in.
I think
All
eventually,
right.
yeah. Because I think probably during that online talks, like there was something there. And at the end
Mm-hmm.
of the day, it's like, why do we hate each other in real life? We have a lot in common.
Yeah, again,
Yeah.
very mature for a high school
Yeah.
girl. I love it. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
I'd be a
yeah, yeah.
great writer because
Good,
I'd be
good.
like, and there is no conflict. Everybody's happy and everybody speaks their feelings, and it's great.
Yeah. It
With
would end in
every
3 episodes. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
uh,
All right. Let's say you're Hido now, okay?
mhm.
You're older, all right? And it's New Year's Eve and it's midnight, and that guy Yijin, that journalist guy, he is sitting right next to you. So you smooch him, all right? But
Mhm.
after you kiss him, he becomes very distant and he avoids you a
Uh-uh.
lot and he's acting like it never
Gemini.
happened. What do you do?
I mean, like I said, I would also ghost him even more because fuck that. I've had too much experience. Yeah, I'd
Wow.
be like, you're dead to me and never talk to me again. I'm gonna fuck your brother and your mom.
Whoa. Yeah, wow. Big turn of events. When it comes to
Yeah,
friendships, you have a lot of,
exactly.
a lot of give. But when it
Love
comes
and
to
yeah,
romance, like, no,
and yes,
no,
that's yes.
end.
100% me. Yes.
Wow. Okay.
uh,
Okay. Got it. Yeah. You'd be good at a rom-com. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
You'd be a good rom-com writer. It would be like
Right.
30,000 episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot
But
of
actually, I was thinking,
conflict.
I don't
Mm.
know, because then it would just be like, and she never talks to him again. The end of the episode. It wouldn't be
Yeah,
like
it'll
a
end
pull.
first episode.
Yeah,
You're right.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, she's like,
Uh,
once she's done, she's done. She doesn't give him second chances, doesn't even look
yeah.
his way.
Yep.
No way, sister. Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay. Got it.
Yep.
Got it. Okay.
Uh,
All right, all right. We're gonna switch gears now, and you're a high school girl named Seungwan. Different girl
mhm,
from these other
mhm,
chicks. You're a very popular online blogger, and you're
mhm.
the top of your class in school because your grades are very high. But you see your best friend Ji-ung getting hit by the school teacher all the time. He hits him all the time. Yeah. So you call
Ooh.
the cops, but the police arrive and they tell you that they can't do anything about it because it's up to the school principal to decide on any disciplinary action on their teachers. And the
Mhm,
principal, for the sake of the school image, he doesn't do anything. What do you do?
mhm. Obviously, I'm gonna write a blog about it. Okay. Obviously, I'm gonna expose the school. I'm gonna expose it, and I'm gonna try trash talk the principal, bring them down until they fire this fucking teacher. Yeah, 100% writing a
Mm,
blog about it.
all right. Yeah. Justice is
Mhm.
yours. Okay. Got it.
Mhm.
Got it.
Mhm.
Mm. Okay. It's the last question now. Final question.
Okay.
Let's say you're Hido, the fencing chick. All right.
Mm-hmm.
You and this guy Ijin, you guys start dating. All right. You guys have been dating for a couple of years now. All right. Yeah. You ended up forgiving him, actually.
Okay. Doesn't
All
sound like
right.
me, but
Maybe he wasn't a
okay.
Gemini after all.
Yeah, okay, fine. Maybe okay.
Yeah. You start dating, but Ijin keeps getting called away to work whenever there's a news break or something. Like he's an anchor, he's a journalist. He keeps getting called away for
Mm.
work. Um, and
This
it's
reminds me
your
of my mom.
anniversary.
Okay.
Oh,
Wasn't my mom like
yeah.
that? Okay, just want to make sure. Mm-hmm.
Wow, it's like you saw
Keeps
the show
score.
already. It's as if you
I know.
saw the
Never mind.
show.
Cross
I
it
mean,
out. Already feel like I watched it.
you already know it. You already know the
Yeah.
psychological depths of the show.
Yeah.
It's done. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's your dating anniversary, like your couple's anniversary when you guys first started dating or whatever. And
Mm-hmm.
so the two of you plan a trip together. On the
Mm-hmm.
day of the trip, he doesn't show up at the airport because it's not the 9/11 World Trade Center accidents happened, the terrorism attacks
Mm.
happened, and Ijin has to fly to New York and work. And he was supposed to stay
Mm-hmm.
for like a short period of time, but he winds up staying for like over a year because of the constant
Ooh.
news breaks
Uh-huh.
that kept
Uh-huh.
happening. Anyway, what do you do?
Listen, I at this point it's like I should be the bigger person because it's like, wow, this is like a huge news story, but I'm not. I'm gonna be like, I fucking knew it from the beginning. I knew I should have never fucking given you another chance, you little bitch. And obviously, it's hitting a core hurt for me because my mom always did this to
Mm-hmm,
me, and you don't
mm-hmm,
care about me, and I
mm-hmm,
would fuck his brother and his
mm-hmm.
mom again.
Yeah, round two. Yeah. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. That's it. Thank
Oh,
you, Sophia. Great
yay.
answers.
Thank you so much. This was so
Yeah,
fun.
super fun.